Good evening. Welcome to Grandma's Attic Music Review. Thank you so much for bringing me into your living room or your bedroom or wherever you're watching us from tonight. Wow, it's so much fun for me to be able to be here and bring you music. Tonight, we have the #1 star of Grandma's Attic. This young man has been on our show more times than any other performer, and every time he's been on, he's brought something new and different to the show. And I know that I appreciate that, and I think that you do too. So without any further ado, let me turn you over to Baird Collins.
Hello. So I'll start right off with something a little bit new and different. This is a Regina Spektor song called The Hotel Song. Come in, come in, come into my world. I've got to show you. Come into my bed. I've got to know you. I have dreams of orca whales and owls, but I wake up in fear. You'll never be my fool, never be my fool. Floaters in my eyes, wake up in a hotel room. Cigarettes and lies, I am a child, it's too soon. I have dreams of orca whales and owls, but I wake up in fear. You'll never be my dear, never be my dear. A little bag of cocaine, so's the girl wearing the dress. I figured out a number inside a paper napkin, but I don't know her address. I wait downstairs, the porter smiles at me, a smile I've bought. With a couple of gold coins, I know that I've been caught. 'Cause I have dreams of orca whales and owls, but I wake up in fear. You'll never be my dear, never be my dear friend. Na 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 na, dear friend. Na 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 na, my dear friend. Na 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 na, my dear friend. Come into my world, I've got to show you. Come into my bed, I've got to know you. 'Cause I have dreams of orca whales and owls, but I wake up in fear. You'll never be my dear, never be my dear friend. Na 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 na, my dear friend. Na 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 na, my dear friend. Na 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 na, my dear friend. All right, so my next song here is going to be a Gaelic song and a Gallic song. This actually has a rather interesting history because it was written on an island in between Northern Ireland and Scotland, so it has a little bit of both cultures in the song. And it is called Iravata, and it is partly in English, partly in Gaelic. Iravata snahoroeya Mohorich Lanlin Skakrachan Chechu. I often haunted the highest hill hilltops, I scan the ocean, I scan the main. But come tonight, love, will come tomorrow. Will it ever come, love, to comfort me? Iravata Snahoroheya, Iravata Snahoroheya, Iravata Snahoroheya, Mohorich Slanlein Skakrachan Chechu. They call thee fickle, they called you false one, and seek to change me, but all in vain. For thou art my dream, and through the dark night, and every morning I scan the main. Virabata Nahoroheya, Iravata Snahoroheya, Iravata Snahoroheya, Mohorich Lanlein Skakrachan Chechu. There's not a hamlet too well I know it, where you go wandering or set a while, but all the old folks you win with talking, and charm its maidens with song and smile. Iravata Nahoroheya, Iravata Nahoroheya, Iravata Nahoroheya, Mohorich Lanlein Skakrachan Chechu. Do you remember the promise made me, the tartan plate and the silken gown, the ring of gold with thy hair and portrait? That gown and ring I will never know. Viravata Naoroheya, Iravata Naoroheya, Iravata Naoroheya, Mohorich Lanlein Skakrachan Chechu.
I love it when you sing.
Thank you. So for this next song, I'm going to switch over to my Irish bouzouki. This next song is called Red is the Rose, and I kind of think of it as the Irish version of Loch Lomond, because it's the same melody, but different words. And I've never sung this version before, but I will now. It's a very beautiful song. Come over the hills, my bonny Irish lass. Come over the hills to your darling. You choose the road, love, and I'll make the vow that I'll be your true love forever. Red is the rose, Clear is the water that flows from the Boyne, but my heart is fairer than any. Down by Killarney's green woods did we stray. The moon and the stars, they were shining. The moon shone its rays on your locks of golden hair, and you swore you'd be my love forever. Red is the rose by yonder garden grows. Fair is the lily of the valley. Clear is the water that flows from the Boyne, but my heart is fairer than any. It's not for the parting my sister pains. It's not for the grief of my mother. It's all for the loss of my bonny Irish lass. Now my heart, it is broken forever. Red is the rose that by yonder garden grows. Red is the lily of the valley. Clear is the water that flows from the Boyne, but my love is fairer than any. Red is the rose that in yonder garden grows. Fair is the lily of the valley. Clear is the water that flows from the Boyne, but my heart is breaking forever.
So this next song also has an interesting history, and I'm switching back to the guitar. This song is called Barrett's Privateers, and it's reportedly from the year 1778 during the American Revolution. This song is from the British side, and the narrator of the song is a sailor from Halifax, Nova Scotia, a Scottish exile, and he is lamenting about their attempt to plunder American shipping, but failing due to circumstance.
Oh, the year was 1778. How I wish I was in Edinburgh now, when a letter of marque was sent by the king to the scummiest vessel I've ever seen. Oh, damn them all, I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold, fire no guns, shed no tears. I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. 'Twas then Sid Barrett cried the town, how I wish I was in Edinburgh now, for 20 men, all fishermen, who would make the Antelope his crew. Oh, damn them all, I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold, fire no guns, shed no tears. I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Now the Antelope was a sickening sight, I wish I was in Edinburgh now, with a list of port and air sails and rags, and cook and the scuppers and the staggers and jags. Oh, damn them all, I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold, we'd fire no guns, shed no tears. I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. On the King's birthday we sailed away, I wish I was in Edinburgh now. When a Yankee ship hove in sight with a cracked 4-pounders we made to fight, oh damn them all. I was told we'd sail the seas for an American gold, fire no guns, shed no tears. I'm a broken man on the Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Oh, the Yankee lay low down with gold, I wish I was in Edinburgh now. She was low and fat and loose stays, but to catch her took the antelope days. Oh, damn them all, I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. I'm a broken man on the Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. But at length we stood 2 cables away, I wish I was in Edinburgh now. Our cracked 4-pounders made an awful din, but one fat ball the Yanks stove us in, oh damn them all. I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold, but we'd fire no guns, shed no tears. I'm a broken man on the Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Well, the antelope shook and fetched our side, I wish I was in Edinburgh now. Oh, Barrett was smashed like a bowl of eggs, and the main track took away both my legs. Oh, damn them all, I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold, but we'd fire no guns, shed no tears. I'm a broken man on the Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. So here I lay on my 25th year, I wish I was in Edinburgh now. 6 years since we sailed away, but I just made Halifax yesterday. Oh, damn them all, I was told we'd sail the seas for American gold, we'd fire no guns, shed no tears. I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
That's kind of a fun one. All right, next I'm going to finger pick a song. This is also a historical song. A lot of my songs tend to be that way. This one is actually a little bit late. It's sort of a Christmas song. It's about the Christmas truce of 1914 during World War I.
My name is Francis Tolliver, I come from Liverpool. 2 years ago the war was waiting for me after school. To Belgium and to Flanders, to Germany, to here, I fought for king and country I loved dear. 'Twas Christmas in the trenches where the frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France where still no Christmas song was sung. Our families back in England were toasting us that day, their brave and glorious land so far away. I was lying with my messmate on the cold and rocky ground, when across the lines of battle came a most peculiar sound. Says I, now listen up me boys, each soldier strained to hear, as one young German voice sang out so clear. He's singing bloody well, you know, my partner says to me. Soon one by one each German voice joined in harmony. The cannons rested silent, the gas clouds rolled no more, as Christmas brought us respite from the war. As soon as they were finished and a reverent pause was spent, God rest ye merry gentlemen struck up some lads from Kent. The next they sang was Stille Nacht, 'tis silent night, says I, and in 2 tongues that song filled up that sky. There's someone coming towards us now, the frontline sentry cried. All sights were fixed on one lone figure trudging from their side. His truce flag like a Christmas star shone on that plain so bright, as he bravely strode unarmed into the night. Soon one by one on either side walked into no man's land. With neither gun nor bayonet we met there hand to hand. We shared some secret brandy and wished wished each other well, and in a flare-lit soccer game we gave 'em hell. We traded chocolates, cigarettes, and photographs from home. These sons and fathers far away from families of their own. Young Sanders played a squeeze box and they had a violin. This curious and unlikely band of men. Soon daylight stole upon us, and France was France once more. With sad farewells we each began to settle back to war. But the question haunted every heart that lived that wondrous night: whose family have I fixed within my sights? 'Twas Christmas in the trenches where the frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France were still, no songs of peace were sung. For the walls they'd kept between us to exact the work of war had been crumbled and were gone forevermore. My name is Francis Tolliver. Each Christmas time it comes, each Yuletide now since World War I, I've learned its lessons well, that the ones who call the shots won't be among the dead and lame, and on each end of the rifle we're the same.
Awesome.
Thank you. So I'm switching back to the bouzouki now. This next song I put in here because it's one of the very first songs that I ever remember singing when I was a very little kid, because I was very into trains and train songs, and I think that kind of music is kind of what brought me into folk music. So I remember singing this song in the car as we would go on trips and depressing my family, because train songs aren't very happy.
Oh, they gave him his orders in Monroe, Virginia, saying, Pete, you're way behind time. Oh, this ain't 38, but it's old 97. You've got to be in center on time. But he turned around to his black greasy fireman, saying, shovel on a little more coal. When we crossed that White Oak Mountain, you can watch old 97 roll. Well, it's a mighty rough road from Lakesburg to Danville, a line on a 3-mile grade. And it was on that grade that he lost his air brakes. You can see what a jump he made. He was going down the mountain, going 90 miles an hour, when the whistle broke into a scream. It was on that grade that he lost his air brakes. You can see what a jump he made. Oh, well, young ladies, you can all take warning, and from this time on you learn. Never speak harsh words to your rail-riding husband. He may leave you and never return. Oh, he went down the mountain going 9 miles an hour, and his whistle began to scream. Oh, we found him in the wreck with his hand on the throttle, scalded to death by the steam. Well, it's a mighty rough road from Lakesburg to Danville. A line is on a 3-mile grade. It was on that grade that he lost his air brakes. You can see what a jump he made.
So this next song, this is A Man of Constant Sorrow. It's a very popular song, and I recently recorded it on a CD that I made, and I played it with bouzouki mainly, and I think it came out really well. I added kind of a French-Canadian almost beat to it. So I think it's a very interesting kind of arrangement of it.
I am a man of constant sorrow. I've seen trouble all of my days. I bid farewell to old Kentucky, the place where I was born and raised, the place where I was born and raised. For 6 long years I've been in trouble, no pleasure here on earth I've found. I'm gonna ride that Northern Railroad. I have no friends to help me now. I have no friends to help me now. It's fare thee well, my own true lover. I never want to see you again, for I'm bound to ride that Northern Railroad. Perhaps I'll die now in the end. Perhaps I'll die now in the end. You can bury me in some deep valley for many years where I may lay. Then you may learn to love another while I am sleeping in my grave. While I am sleeping in my grave. I am a man of constant sorrow. I have seen trouble all of my days. I bid farewell to old Kentucky, the place where I was born and raised, the place where I was born and raised.
So I always explain what this instrument is when I perform because it's pretty uncommon. It's a bit like a mandolin. It's called an Irish bouzouki, as I mentioned earlier. It has 8 strings, and bouzouki is actually the Greek word for out of tune. That's why it's requiring a bit of tuning here.
You know, this is the one song that gets played on my show every single show. And you know I say that every single show.
Yeah, the one instrument.
Every musician knows it. The tune-up song.
Right, the tune-up song, yeah. The bouzouki is good at the tune-up song, yeah.
Oh, one evening as I rambled down by Pomeroy, I met a farmer's daughter all on the mountainside, and her beauty so enticed me I could not pass her by. So with my gun I'll guard her all on the mountainside. I said, my pretty fair maid, I'm glad to meet you here on these lonesome mountains. Your beauty shines clear. She said, oh sir, be civil and my company forsake, for it is my opinion that you are some rake. Says he, I am no rake, I'm brought up in Venus train. I'm seeking for concealment all in the judge's name. Oh, if my parents didn't know your life, they would destroy for keeping of my company all on these mountains high. I said, my pretty creature, don't let your parents know, for if they do, they'll ruin you and prove your overthrow. This pretty young thing, she stood all in a maze, with eyes as bright as amber, upon her I did gaze. Her ruby lips and cherry cheeks, the last of firm and I, she faded in my arms there all on the mountainside. When I kissed her once or twice, she came to herself again and said, be kind, sir, be civil, and tell to me your name. Go down yonder forest, my castle you'll there find. My name is old as history, it is Renardine. So all you pretty young maids, a warning take by me. Be sure you quit night walking and shun bad company, for if you don't, you sure ruin till the day you die. Beware of meat and Renardine, all on the mountains high.
That song is based on an Irish legend that was kind of a cautionary tale to young women about a fellow who was half man, half fox, kind of a were-fox, and he would hunt women in the mountains, and there's a whole bunch of different versions of it, but that's one that I particularly like. This next song, I've done it a few times before in this show, and that's because I like it so much, is the first song I learned on bouzouki, and it is Arthur McBride. Get a little water there.
Oh, I had a first cousin called Arthur McBride. He and I went walking down by the seaside, seeking good fortune and what might betide. Was just as this day was a-dawning. Then after resting we both took a tramp. We met Sergeant Hopper and Corporal Cramp, besides a wee drummer who beat up our camp with his rowdy dow-dow in the morning. He says, me young fellows, if you will enlist 10 guineas in gold I will slip in your fist, besides a crown for to kick up the dust and drink the king's health in the morning. For a soldier always leads a very fine life. He always is blessed with a charming young wife, and he pays all his debts without sorrow or strife, and he always is happy and charming. Oh, now, my bold sergeant, we are not for sale. We'll make no such bargain, your pride won't avail. We're not tired of our country, we don't care to sail, although that your offer is charming. For had we been such fools as to take your advance, it's a right bloody slander would be our poor chance. For you'd have no scruples but to send us to France, where we would be shot without warning. Oh, now, says the sergeant, if I hear but one word, I instantly now will launch out my sword, and into your bodies as strength will afford. So now, my gay devils, take warning. But Arthur and I, we soon drew our odds. We scarce gave them chance for to launch out their swords, when whacking shillelaghs came over their heads and paid them right smart in the paw. and we made a football of his rowdy dow-dow. Into the ocean to rock and to roll, and barring the day it's returning. As for the old rapier, we hung by his side. We flung it as far as we could in the tide. To the devil I bid you, says Arthur McBride, to temper your steel in the morning.
Are you going to give me time to talk to you today?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Come over anytime you're
All
ready.
right. Right now is good?
Sure.
All right.
So, sit with me. I have to give credit where credit's due. Number one, I really have to thank my crew. And they're not my crew, they're my team. And my director, Chris, hi Chris, he makes everybody look good. Well, almost every, not me, but he does a wonderful job out there with fading and doing whatever. Bob does such a great job as a cameraman, and I absolutely wouldn't know how to do it. And then we have Jeff, who makes our sound so complete, and we all know that music without a good sound man is worthless. So I really have to thank them. And then Mary Jane is the person that made me do this show. And I just love her, and if I can grow up and be just like her, I'll be happy. So I have to thank them publicly, and now you all know that my team it's all about them. They make this happen. So I'm so happy that you're here again.
I'm happy to be here again.
What's been going on in your life? How's the Green Party thing?
Very well. We had an election. I ran for RTM. I lost by just 3%. Which I'm okay with because I'm okay with because it's the first time running, coming pretty close.
Yeah.
We had one candidate win, so we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how that went.
So that's for the Waterford Green Party.
Right. Yeah.
And do you guys have meetings on a regular basis?
We do. Yep.
And can anybody get involved?
Yeah, anybody can get involved that wants to.
You want to tell people where they can find you and stuff?
Yeah.
I know this is about music, but
I know.
I'm going to touch on everything you do.
Well, we have our website, waterfordgreenparty.org. We have a Facebook page, Waterford Connecticut Green Party. Our next meeting is this Monday at 6:30, and you can find all the information about that online. So
nice.
It's all there.
Now, are you all done school?
No, I'm a Connecticut College student. And I took a semester off, and I've been working actually on starting up a nonprofit with some people.
What kind of a nonprofit?
It's called Life Without Borders. It's kind of an environmental group.
Nice.
We've been doing some work with bat conservation, but we've kept our mission statement a little bit open. We held a fundraiser a little while ago for a local girl who's battling cancer, that sort of thing.
Oh, nice.
So we handle issues like that.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Awesome. I'm all about fundraisers for people that need the money.
Absolutely.
I recently did a fundraiser for a young lady that got severely assaulted downtown. And the whole community jumps on board when you're doing things for the right reasons. What are you doing with your music besides... didn't I hear you just say you did a CD?
I did. I have made a CD.
Where is it?
It's not here. I'm actually have to burn more copies because people bought a bunch of them.
Really?
Yeah.
I want one for my radio show.
I'll make sure you get one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I actually made it myself. I figured out how to do all the editing and stuff.
Nice.
Which is a patient process of trial and error.
Is it really?
Yeah.
See, I can't do any of that stuff. I just sit here and ask questions and bring musicians on. It really, that's the easy stuff, I sit here and let you guys do the hard work.
Mm-hmm. Well, the fun thing about me making a CD is, I play so many different instruments that I can kind of in a song and say, okay, I'm going to play 5 instruments, and then I can do them all myself and put them all together. I really like doing that.
That complicated. Wow. Yeah. I really can't wait to hear it. That's something. Have you done any work on writing any of your own music?
I have actually. I am writing a couple songs at the moment, and they're actually coming along successfully, which is the first time that's ever happened. So.
Well, I think that you writing songs is gonna be. First of all, you're really intelligent, and you have this huge heart for the old stuff.
Yeah.
The history. So your songs are gonna bring light to things that we don't really know about or whatever. And that's what I love about you, is you bring to the table stories and songs about things we might not know a lot about.
Yeah.
I didn't know that that our ships got attacked by Canadians.
Yeah.
That's where is that in our history books?
Yeah. Well,
is that in our history books?
It should be. I mean, it's kind of an interesting part of the story, what the role that Canada kind of played in the Revolution, because, you know, within Canada, people wanted Canada to secede along with the United States, and then there were loyalists. So there was almost a civil war within Canada on a very small level between loyalists and secessionists. Yeah.
That's very cool. I guess I did know that, but I didn't know that Canadians were attacking our ships. It was like we're having to deal with them too.
Right.
That's enough. How is this is a silly question. How's your partner work going? Usually you have a partner here with you, and it's usually a female. Who are you singing with these days?
I've mainly been singing with myself these days. I haven't really been partnering with anyone else lately. Although I played with a few people at Sailfest last summer. We brought in a whole bunch of people.
How was that?
That was a lot of fun. We did like some different stuff. We even covered a Taylor Swift song. It was kind of just
really.
Yeah.
I can't see you doing Taylor Swift.
It's on YouTube. It was pretty funny. But
I bet.
Yeah.
I'm going to look that up. I'm absolutely going to look that up. Do you have a musical Facebook page?
You know, I don't actually, and I should make one.
Yeah, you should. But can people find you on YouTube and Facebook? How would they do that?
Well, I have a website, and that will link you to all sorts of stuff. It's BairdCollins.com. Very straightforward, just my name. And that has YouTube links. You can find me there and stuff. And,
nice.
There's contact information as well.
So you're at Connecticut College. What are you studying?
I'm majoring in government.
That works. But what about music?
That stunned silent is usually what I get when I tell people I'm majoring in government.
Because you're such a musician.
Right.
You're such a historical musician. First of all, I thought that you were going to say history. But you're such a musician that brings such talent to the table historically and talent-wise. If you're majoring in government, what are you going to do with your music?
Well, you know, I don't think that, you know, music is, I always see music as being a large part of my life. I always intend to be a musician and perform. But, you know, I think people can do more than one thing. And, you know, I really like, you know, working with the government and, you know, the Green Party and stuff. And I also like doing music, so I don't think the two cancel each other out. In fact, I think they complement each other in a lot of ways.
They do. So if you're majoring in government, here's a question for you. How do you feel about what's going on in government today? Be honest. This is public access. We can say whatever we want on this show.
I think
I have political attitudes, so you can say whatever you want.
To kind of sum up what I think about government now, I would go back to kind of how Aristotle, and he laid out the different types of governments that exist. And in his opinion, I would disagree, but he said the best type of government was an oligarchy of the learned people. And he said the worst type of government was an oligarchy of the wealthy, or rule by those that simply had the power to rule. And I think that that's what we have now. He called it a perverted oligarchy. I think it's a facade of a democratic process. And I think that no matter where you fall, you know, politically, the fact that, you know, public opinion statistically has next to zero influence on legislation is a problem everyone should be concerned with universally.
Right. I agree with you 100%. It's kind of funny. I have to tell you, I was over by the hospital last Saturday, and I actually helped a gentleman out of the car that had pulled in next to my Jeep, and he had been in like all the wars, World War I, World War II, and the Korean War.
Wow.
And he was like 120 or something.
Wow.
He was really old.
That's amazing.
And so I helped him out of the car, and I thanked him for being a vet. And he said, it was my honor, but I wouldn't do it today. I mean, he really had his senses about him until he said this. He said, who are you voting for this year? And I said, I really haven't decided if I'm going to vote for or I'm just going to throw my vote in because I'm voting and vote against. He says, you need to vote for Trump. And I kind of rolled my eyes, and I'm thinking to myself, this guy knows this guy fought for our country, not
Right.
once, not twice, but 3 times.
Yeah.
And he seemed to have his faculties about him, and he wants us to vote for Trump. So I didn't get that. So I feel like I have to do more research because
Yeah.
there's something wrong with that picture.
Well, when you start learning about government and political science, you start to look at public reaction and the why candidates succeed as sort of a cause and effect sort of thing, and I see the Trump success as very inevitable because within our country we have an increasing gap between the rich and the poor. So we have a lot of people that are losing their money, a lot of people that are going further into poverty,
Right.
and that creates a lot of desperate people that are frightened. And when people get frightened, they get eager to blame anyone that can, someone they can get at to stop
Right.
what's happening to them. And I just thought it was a matter of time before someone rose up who was going to put voice to the sentiments of all these Americans who, I don't think that all Trump support. I think that Trump and what he proposes is actual fascism. Like it's the definition of fascism. It's a corporate economy and
I
authoritarian
agree with you
government.
100%.
But I don't think that all of his supporters are bad people. I think. That
Oh,
they're
I don't
just,
think that anybody that's involved with any of the
Right.
politics that are going on are bad people.
Right. Well, I think that his supporters, they're frightened, they're afraid,
And they don't know any
and they're
better.
angry.
Yep.
And I think that, even with a lot of Democratic candidates, even, Bernie Sanders, who I like very much.
I do too.
But I feel like his supporters are almost very similar. It's people who've just chosen to take out their anger in, I think, a better directed path.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the situation. It's an inevitable polarization.
It's scary enough for me to be like, okay, I'm going to Norway, but but I can't bring myself to leave what's here because this is my home, and I
Exactly.
love what
Yeah.
America stands for,
Yeah.
used to stand for.
Yeah.
That's what I say. Well, we got off the subject of music
We
there
did.
for a minute,
We
but
did.
that's not a bad thing. Sometimes we have to talk about other things. You say you were writing 2 more songs. What are they about?
Well, the first song that I'm writing is kind of an environmental protest song.
Yes.
And it's,
Typical folk music. I love
yeah.
it.
But I'm kind of coming at it from a different angle because I'm trying to kind of put voice to moments in my life where the way I felt about watching environmental destruction. Because I've been to a lot of places, like I've canoed down the Allagash, and like there there's a moment where you come around the bend in the river and you look up and the mountains half clear cut, and how does that make you feel? That's kind of what I'm trying to approach in that song.
I bet you felt like, why, right?
Yeah. And the other song I'm writing is about my late granduncle, my Uncle Franklin, he died, and he was a really important member of my family. He was in World War II. He was a very kind man and a very simple man to people who didn't know him extremely well. When you got to know him extremely well, I think he was very complex, and he had some inner demons, especially from the war. And I kind of want to write a song about how that affected him and what I saw in him.
Were you really young when he passed on? Or?
No, he actually died just this past winter.
So
about
it's
a year
definitely a song you need to write.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will help you process and then you can come on my show and play it.
There you go.
And dedicate it and have a CD to give to your family.
There you go.
Yeah, that would be a nice memento. As you move forward and become president, because if you're going to be in government, you certainly have to start somewhere and run for things.
Yeah.
First, locally, we'll get you into the selectman thing and Green Party selectman. That would be great. And then we'll move you up the ladder to senator and whatever. Because I think that if we all pay attention that locally and on a city to town level, we're going to see the Green Party become much more important. I think that people are going to start looking at what the Green Party's doing and jump off the Democrat-Republican thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be associated with those 2 parties. What do I do? And see what the Green Party's doing. And then, so we'll get you into that place. And then you can run for president.
There you go.
A green president.
Oh, boy.
That'd be awesome.
I believe actually a country does have the first green president. It was a joint coalition between the Green Party and someone else. And it's in some Eastern European country, but there is a Green Party president somewhere.
You have to figure that out,
Yeah.
find that out, and tell us.
I want to say Lithuania, but that might be wrong.
Okay. I have enough trouble dealing with.
Brazil.
It's Brazil? Well, we know for a fact now it's Brazil because we have our Google master sitting behind the camera telling us all the answers to everything. That's Mr. Bob Steller. He's brilliant. He knows about all those things. So I keep losing track of where I'm at, and I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
Let's talk about the area. There's some things that are going on musically. Coming up in February, I believe, is a Pete Seeger tribute.
Yes.
You're on that list, aren't you?
I always have been in the past. I think I'm playing it again this year. I'll have to talk to someone about that to make sure.
Yeah. I think I'm on the board of
Okay.
that. And
I might be on the list already. That's possible.
I'm pretty sure you're already
Okay.
on the list because
Good.
you're you.
Yeah.
As we begin in this time, in this age, to lose some of the really important factors, people of folk, how important is it for us to keep teaching our present population about folk music?
I think it's very important because I think that folk music is kind of the language with which our society passes down, stories and cultural history and lessons about what's happened in the past. Because I think that presenting history in the form of a song is a lot more appealing and reaches a wider audience than a history book.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that folk music is it's not just an art form. It's kind of a collective memory that our society has.
That's awesome. I was watching the documentary about Greenwich Village, and if you haven't seen it yet, Google it or Netflix. It was on Netflix. It's really good. And the majority of the people that were talked about and had cuts and clips of their music called themselves folk musicians. And that includes Peter, Paul, and Mary, and Melanie, and, well, of course, a bunch of stuff on there was about Bob Dylan. But the people that were producers and managers of these people were saying what those musicians were doing today, and this was 40, 50 years ago, said that they would go down in history more than any of, and they named some of the rock bands, and some of the rock bands that they named, even I didn't really know much about them. And so it's true that those, because they did name Arlo Guthrie and Bob Dylan and Melanie and Peter, Paul, and Mary and the Mamas and the Papas and just on and on and on. And those people all thought that they were folk musicians.
Yeah.
So I like seeing folk still going. And Friday Night Folk, by the way, guys, we have a show on the 22nd of this month, so you should check that out, FridayNightFolk.org. It will tell you all the shows that we're doing. I think that you have to go take us out with a song.
All right.
And thank you so much. Always, always, always a joy
Always
for
a
me to
pleasure.
have you here. So
Always
thank
good
you
to be
so
here.
much. While Baird's getting back into music, just let me remind you to shop local, do local, be local, support your local shops, and hang out with your neighbor. Get to know your neighbor's name. You may need your neighbor someday. Thanks all for watching. I'll see you next week. God bless. Bye-bye.
So the song I'm going to play you out with is a song I believe was written by Christy Moore, and it is it ties in a little bit with what I was saying about the politics, and it's about the Spanish Civil War and all the people who came together to stop the rise of fascism then, and I think we have to do that now.
Oh, 10 years before I saw the light of morning, a comradeship of heroes was laid. From every corner of the world came sailing the 15th International Brigade. They came to stand beside the Spanish people to try and stem the rising fascist tide. Franco's allies were the powerful and wealthy. Frank Ryan's men came from the other side. Even the olives were bleeding as the battle for Madrid it thundered on. Truth and love against the force of evil, brotherhood against the fascist clan. Viva la quince brigada, no pasaran, the pledge that made them fight. Adelante is the cry around the hillside. Let us all remember them tonight. Bob Hilliard was a Church of Ireland pastor. From Killarney across the Pyrenees he came. From Derry came a brave young Christian brother. Side by side they fought and died in Spain. Tommy Woods, age 17, died in Cordoba. With the Fianna he learned to hold his gun. From Dublin to the Via del Rio, where he fought and died beneath the blazing sun. Viva la quince brigada, no pasaran, the pledge that made them fight. Adelante is the cry around the hillside. Let us all remember them tonight. Many Irishmen heard the call of Franco, joined Hitler and Mussolini too. Propaganda from the pulpit and newspapers helped O'Duffy to enlist his crew. Oh, the word came from the church, support the fascists. The men of cloth fail yet again. When the bishops blessed the blue shirts in Dunleary, they sailed beneath the swastika to Spain. Viva la quince brigada, no pasaran, the pledge that made them fight. Adelante is the cry around